Hello and welcome to the Crisler Center for John Nora and Matthew Miller. You'll have to forgive Matt and I's tardiness. We had a little bit of a snafu when it came to setting up the board here tonight at Crisler Center. Matt and I still trying to find each other's groove. We met 15 minutes ago, but we're hoping to be ready and raring for you tonight, as it's a must-win tonight, Matthew, for our Michigan Wolverines here at Crisler. Exactly right, Matt. You know, Michigan, of course, dropping their top 10, top 2 matchup that was against Ohio State. Looking for a rebound here tonight as the tip is up and recovered by Purdue. Purdue swings it around to the top of the key here. Taking it to the corner, content to keep it herself. Now out to the right corner. A shot. No good, short, recovered by Lauren Hansen. She'll take it up herself. The point guard, averaging just over 2 assists on the season. She'll take a step back, looks for a hezzy 3. Now dumped down low to Cam Williams in the post. Williams up, and a rim rattler and good. 2 points for Cam Williams. Purdue with the ball now in their half-court offense. Dumps it down low to the left low post. Brings it back up. And a shot no good, recovered by Layla Filia. Filia bringing over to Hobbs. Hobbs in the right wing. Hobbs looks to pass to Alyssa Brett. A tip pass goes just wide. That's recovered by the Boilermakers. Sent up to the right wing. A shot, no good. Recovered by the Wolverines. That's Layla Filia. Bringing it down over to Jordan Hobbs. Content to drive. Kicks it back out to Filia. Now to the top of the key to Hansen. Hansen bringing it right now. Looks to dump it down to Cam Williams. Williams with a bump, a spin, a hook, and just short, but recovered by Filia. And a foul on the floor. What have you seen so far, Matt?
It's looking action-packed so far. I'm really looking forward to this. A couple missed shots, of course. It'll take a second for each of the 2 teams to get into the groove, but solid rebounding on both ends, and looking forward to an exciting contest today.
Jordan Hobbs inbounds it to Lauren Hansen, a 3. That'll rattle in and out, recovered by Hobbs. Has an open corner 3, neglects to shoot. Sends it up to Hansen. Hansen back to Hobbs. Hobbs dumps it down low to Williams. Williams with a bump, a second, a left-hand floater, and a finish. 4-0 start for the Wolverines here, Matt.
Absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful finish by Williams. 4 points on the day so far, 4 points in the entire game. She is leading the way for the Wolverines.
Exactly right. Purdue here setting up at the high post on the right elbow. Now kicking it over to the corner. That's Purdue still with the ball to the top of the key. Left-hand dribble drive and a retreat by number 10 in black. Now it's out. A shot recovered by Layla Filia. She's been all over the boards tonight, folks. Only 2 minutes into this game. Filia takes it in, passes it to Alyssa Brett, who kicks it out to the left wing. That's Lauren Hansen. A jab, a pump fake, a shot, and another rim rattler. The Wolverines not able to convert. Purdue pushing the pace now. A lead, a bump, and a foul. That foul taken by Janae Terry, and the Boilermakers will shoot 2.
That is Terry at the line. Terry is looking for her 1,000th career point tonight. She's actually 1 point away, so super exciting moment ahead of us right now. Looking to pick that 1,000th career point up right now.
And the first shot is no good. Janae Terry will look to have her second opportunity here at number 1,000, as you mentioned, Matt. The shot is up and good, and congratulations to Janae Terry on her 1,000th point. The Detroit, Michigan native has made a career for herself here for the Boilermakers. As the Wolverines set up in their half-court offense, it's Lauren Hansen, content to keep it right. Sends it over to Layla Felia on the right wing. Felia back over to Hansen. Hansen sends a little cheeky no-look pass over to Jordan Hobbs, who can't hold on to it, but a loose ball foul called on Janae Terry. Terry, the transfer from Illinois, has had 3 years in black and gold for Purdue. The only lone point on the score sheet tonight for Purdue. 3 minutes into this game. 4-1 Wolverines with 7 minutes to go. As Layla Felia inbounds the ball to Lauren Hansen. Hansen kicks it back to Felia, over to Alyssa Brett. Brett with the drive, trying to send it down low to Cam Williams. That won't go. Now a swing pass over to Lauren Hansen, and that one finds the bottom of the net after a couple of missed shots early, Matt, by the Wolverines.
And beautiful three from Lauren Hansen. 11.7 points per game average, and she's already got 3 on the board tonight.
Rashonda Jones sends the ball over to Abby Ellis. Ellis now over to Madison Layden, who kicks a 3 from the left corner, no good. Recovered by the Wolverines, and now it's Lauren Hansen taking the ball up. Hansen content to get set. She's been the point guard for the Wolverines all season long after being more of a shooting guard role. The transfer from Missouri sends it over to Jordan Hobbs. Hobbs with a behind the back, a put up, and just a little too hard over the back iron. Recovered by the Boilermakers. That's Rashonda Jones again. Jones dumps it off down low to Madison Layden. A little English, not enough though, as the Wolverines recover the rebound. Lauren Hansen again sends it over to Jordan Hobbs. Hobbs over to Felia in the left corner. Felia, a drive, a quick cross, now a pump fake, step through, and another one falls for the Wolverines. That's 9-1 to start this game here with just over 5 minutes left in the first quarter.
Amazing finish by Felia as well, one of the leading scorers for the University of Michigan Wolverines.
And those same Wolverines finding some defensive success here as a shot by Abby Ellis won't go from the elbow. Now the ball back in the hands of Lauren Hansen, sends it to the top of the key to Hobbs. Hobbs to Felia, who elects to shoot from the corner. Just misses wide right. Now recovered by Abby Ellis. She takes one, a little Euro step. No foul on the play. Ellis seemed to wanted one for the Boilermakers. Now recovery by Hansen. Hansen a Euro step of her own. That one can't find the net either. Rashonda Jones taking the ball up in transition, dumps it off to Ellis. Ellis a little left-hand finish, and the first bucket of the day for the Boilermakers comes with 5 minutes to go in the first.
Both teams still trying to get into a groove here early in the game. 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And here are the Wolverines.
Hobbs kicks it over to Felia. Felia over to Alyssa Brett at the top of the key. Now back to Hobbs, trying to work it through to Cam Williams. She's been a distributor all day.
Unfortunately, Felia cannot let that shot drop.
Now Rashonda Jones attempting to dump it down into the low post, and a kick ball by the Wolverines. Did you see who that was, Matt? Did you see who that was, Matt?
I did not see who that was. It was kind of tough to tell from this angle. We'll find out in just a moment.
The Wolverines playing a little bit of stringent defense here to start. 3 points allowed to the Boilermakers with just 4 minutes left in this first quarter.
The Boilermakers looking to get into a good rhythm in this game. One of their critical players, Caitlyn Harper, is out for this game. She suffered a knee injury just a few games ago versus Penn State, bringing her career to a close. The 6th-year senior has scored 1,900 career points and unfortunately cannot close out the season this evening.
Exactly right. The transfer spent these last 2 years here at Purdue, but previously she was at California Baptist, spending her first 4 years there. Of course, a byproduct of the COVID era that we've become all so familiar with. Sadly, not how you want to see your 6th-year senior season go. The Boilermakers will miss her tonight.
Definitely, but fortunately for the Boilermakers, they have a very, very strong freshman class, and this is definitely the strength of the team. The freshman class actually has the most combined points per game in the Big Ten right now. Leading the way and really looking to build up a strong team going into future seasons.
I'm so glad you bring that up, Matt. You know, normally we'd have had the opportunity to discuss this a little bit more, but maybe who are some of the power players, now that we have this media timeout to discuss it, that you're seeing out here on the court for Purdue?
Absolutely. Some of the power players, of course, do include the freshmen. We have Reynolds, who's number 1, someone to keep an eye out for. We also have Layden, number 11 on the Purdue Boilermakers, Monson, number 21, as well as Swanson, number 31. Usually they're not starting the game, but they are able to come into the game a couple minutes in and really get the play moving, keep everything going, keep the momentum up for the Boilermakers.
Exactly. Swanson, a New York City native, went to the Dalton School, as it says here, a famous school in New York City. Maybe if we have any East Coast listeners out there, they'd be a little more familiar. Myself, Matt, being from New Jersey, I was always familiar with the Dalton School, always had very strong athletic programs, a testament to Miss Swanson's career here at Purdue. Albeit a young one that we hope is prosperous. Now, thus far, Matt, we've seen a 9-3 score. The Wolverines, known for their defense here at Crisler Arena, always putting up some stronger defensive performances on the back of a bigger guard lineup. What have you been seeing that's allowed them to facilitate this defensive performance thus far?
I think just the team's bonding has been a big part of this. The ability for them to work together and their willingness and desire to go far not only as individuals but the team and make sure they're all in place. Working well in defense together is very critical for the team.
Exactly right. The Wolverines, a byproduct of a new era of basketball with a lot of taller guards there on their lineup, as the ball will be inbounded by Purdue, and those same guards bringing that pesky defense. That's Alyssa Brett locking down the inbounds pass before a shot goes up and falls by Janae Terry. So that Wolverines defense that I've been praising can't get it done right there, making me look bad. All the same, it'll be Elise Stuck bringing the ball up the court, sends it over to Layla Filia. Filia over to Brett, always the hot three-point shooter. Will send it down low and nearly stripped. That was Kyra Evans. The ball ends up in the hands of Rashida Jones for Purdue. Will put the shot up and good in transition. Shonda Jones been a force all night in the transition game. Such a quick player as the ball will be kicked over to Alyssa Brett in the corner for the Wolverines. That three is good. And Michigan will take a 12-7 lead with 3 minutes and 33 seconds to go. Now that's Abby Ellis taking the ball, kicks it outside to Elena Harper. Harper puts the shot up, it won't fall. Recovered by Kyra Evans. The 6'2 forward had a big impact role earlier this season in the Illinois game, an 84-48 win for Michigan. Now sends it over to Alyssa Brett. Brett attempting to send a cross-court pass out of the left wing. It'll bounce out of her hands. Purdue basketball.
And Stevenson will be inbounding this ball. She was actually wearing a face mask due to a face injury a couple of games ago against Ohio State. So, of course, might be a little difficult to see through the mask, but she is doing well and playing hard this evening.
Exactly right. Ohio State falling in a 10-point loss to Illinois. Caitlin Clark breaking the all-time scoring record for an NCAA player, passing Pete Maravich. We'd be remiss not to mention that as the Boilermakers set up in their half-court offense. That's an attempted shot by Mary Ashley Stevenson. It'll go just short. The left-hand hook won't fall. Now it's Lauren Hansen at the top of the key. The true point guard for the Wolverines sends it over to Alyssa Brett. Brett dumps it down low to Stuck. Stuck over to Kyra Evans. She'll take a bump and kick it back over to Layla Filia. Filia's pass intercepted by Elena Harper. Harper will take it herself, and she'll put it up for two off the glass. Excuse me, that's Sophie Swanson, correction. My apologies. Wolverines will recover, that's Lauren Hansen. Hansen sends it over to Filia. Filia up to Alyssa Brett. She'll send it over to Kyra Evans. Evans sends one over to Filia. She'll take a jump stop, kick it over to the wide open Lauren Hansen, who let a three go, and a little bit of an awkward roll. The Purdue bench looks for a foul. None will be called. Now a three will be teed up. That's Myla Reynolds. It won't fall. Rebounded by Kyra Evans. Evans to Hansen. She'll take it up, as she normally does here for these Wolverines. Wolverines in recent years kind of besieged by a lack of a true point guard. Evans, the transfer from Missouri, Lauren Hansen, the transfer from Missouri, hoping to fill that role as Kyra Evans. An attempted pass is intercepted by Stevenson. Stevenson will send it over to Abby Ellis. Ellis with the left hand over to the wing. Looking to direct the offense. Ellis will take the screen from Stevenson. Now Ellis will take it herself, will attempt a shot through some contact. No foul called, but the ball will stay with the Boilermakers.
Michigan's been having a little bit of trouble on these last couple possessions, getting the ball organized on offense and finishing their drives. And Purdue will stick with the ball. Only a 3-point game difference right now, 12 for the Wolverines and 9 for the Boilermakers. Just over a minute remaining in the first quarter.
Exactly right. That'll be Rashonda Jones inbounding. Jones back with the ball in her hands, will reject the screen, take it left, put it up herself, and will draw the foul. The Boilermakers not scared here to try and attempt to use some physicality, huh, Matt?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, some of the physicality does come with a foul every now and then, and Michigan with 2 at the night right now, and the second set of free throws coming up for the Boilermakers. This is Rashonda Jones, sinks her first, and steps back to the line to shoot the second.
Those will be Jones' 3rd and 4th points of the day as the Wolverines will look to set up in the half court. Lauren Hansen dribbling it out here. 55 seconds to go in the first quarter. She'll send it over to Layla Felia at the right wing. Felia dumps it low to Cam Williams, who tries to draw a bump and draws a charge instead.
Michigan getting into a little bit of foul trouble, but no worries at the moment. It's still super early in the game. Only 3 on the day, and they've still got a lot of time ahead of them.
Rashonda Jones, the 5'8" point guard out of South Bend, Indiana. Another famous Indiana school located in there, I know. She'll send it over to Stevenson. Now back to Jones. Jones sends it over to Sophie Swanson. She'll look to take a 3. It won't go. Correction, that was Mila Reynolds, off the pass from Swanson. The 3 won't fall all the same. Now that's Jordan Hobbs. Hobbs sends it into the high elbow. Over to Kyra Evans. Evans swings it to Felia, now back to Hansen.
And we have 10 seconds left in the first quarter here. Michigan with the ball.
The dump down low to Kyra Evans with 3 seconds to go. She'll put it up off the glass and can't get it to go as Jones will lob a 3 from about the half court. Some long odds there, but never hurts to take a shot, right, Matt?
Definitely, and that was really close, too. That's one of the best that I've seen, most accurate so far this season. Just a heave from past half court.
So the Wolverines get out to a 9-1 run to start the game at about the 5-minute mark. A timeout gets called after a layup. And now it's been the way of the Boilermaker for the back half of that first period. What'd you think, Matt?
Absolutely. It's only a 1-point game, 11 for the Boilermakers and 12 for the Wolverines. Been a little bit of a tough time from beyond the 3-point line. The Boilermakers are 0 for 4 from beyond the arc, and the Wolverines have the only 2 3-pointers of the game, but they're only 2 for 6, shooting 33%. A little bit of a slow start for each of the 2 teams, but Purdue has done a great job of getting themselves back into this game and establishing a phenomenal contest.
Exactly right. Now that we have entered into this little bit of intermission here, it's worth to talk about, Matt, the Wolverines' prospects in March Madness. Of course, March 3rd here, a lovely Sunday in Ann Arbor. But the Wolverines have got bigger things on their minds if they want to find success at the end of this season. ESPN Bracketology has Michigan as the last 4 buys in the NCAA Tournament. What does this mean? What does this game mean to them?
This game definitely means a lot. If they're able to finish strong today and they're able to show them who Michigan basketball is, they're going to have a much better chance at not only getting into the tournament, but also succeeding in the tournament and establishing themselves as the team that they have become under Kim Barnes-Arico, their head coach, who's been coaching for multiple years now, and she has led the team to multiple runs in the tournament. They've had 6 NCAA tournament appearances and looking to pick up a 7th under Kim Barnes-Arico this season.
Of course, eliminated in the round of 32 last year. That was driven by a class of seniors that are no longer with Michigan. as well as we'd be remiss to not mention the wonderful Naz Hillman, who led the program to their first Elite Eight all those years ago. Purdue, Michigan, the final matchup for the Wolverines before they head into Big Ten tournament play. Of course, always more time to go out and establish a resume when it counts in the tournament. But this game is important to the Wolverines. Now for Purdue, perhaps not the same exact story. 12 and 16 on the season. Of course, Matt, you wonderfully touched on their exceptional freshman class that they will be relying on through the years. But what can they do to play a little bit of spoiler maker, so to speak, for the Wolverines tonight?
Definitely. I think what they need to do is just work as a team and play passionately. Of course, they have one of their big players missing, as we mentioned, number 34, Caitlyn Harper, and that's going to be a big hit for the team. If they're able to play for their team, they're able to play for each other, and remember who they are as a freshman class and where they're going, that is going to be the key to winning this evening. And just as we have said in the past, a win would be better than a loss, and that is how it is looking for Purdue this evening. While it won't necessarily get them anywhere in the postseason, this is going to be a big win to keep the team's momentum going into future seasons.
Exactly right. As Kyra Evans inbounds the ball, and we'll kick off here the second period of this contest here. Michigan leading 12-11 in the second quarter over the Purdue Boilermakers. A pass down low to Jordan Hobbs. She'll put up a little baby floater. That'll find the bottom of the net, and it's 14-11 Michigan.
And that is Hobbs' first 2 points for the day here in the second quarter.
Madison Layden taking a screen from Elena Harper. Hayden now sends it over to Sophie Swanson. Swanson now back to Stevenson. At the top of the key, the Boilermakers not getting a whole lot of movement. Stevenson will take it herself. Will miss just short off the glass and kicked out of bounds. The ball will stay with the Boilermakers. Abby Ellis will check in for the Boilermakers, taking out Sophie Swanson, number 31 in black. Inbounded there by Emily Monson. Now Monson over to Jayla Smith. Jayla Smith will take it herself, lose her handle of the ball, looks to see if there's a little bit of a blocking foul there, but the ball will stay with Michigan.
And that's something that Michigan is going to have to take advantage of, just sloppy ball movement. And even from both sides, that's going to be what is going to defeat either the Wolverines or the Purdue Boilermakers this evening. So Michigan's going to have to be careful of that, as well as Purdue.
Exactly right. Purdue electing to go for a little bit of a press there, something Michigan has historically struggled with. Michigan's Taylor Woodson breaking it with ease. Now the ball sent over to Greta Kampschrader, the elite three-point shooter, off the bench. Now the ball kicked out with a clock winding down to Layla Felia, as she'll put it up and receive the foul. Felia to shoot 2.
Felia's 1 for 3 this evening for field goal attempts, and she is 0 for 2 for threes, but looking for a couple of free throws right here.
Felia, of course, the driving engine for these Wolverines, both on offense and defense. The team leader in steals as she attempts her first free throw here. No good for Felia. One of those kinds of nights, as you mentioned, Matt, 0 for 2 from the 3. She'll attempt to get something going here on her second shot.
80% from the free throw line, but 1 for 2 this evening. And here come the Boilermakers.
Michigan trying to match the intensity with a press of their own. The ball recovered after a slip by Jordan Hobbs. She'll send it over to Felia. Felia will pull it up. Now recovered by Taylor Woodson. It looks to be an over-the-back foul, and the ball will switch back to the Boilermakers' hands. Michigan running a press here. Always oh so dangerous in college basketball. A lot of high risk, high reward. As the press is broken with ease by Abby Ellis, she'll take it over and send it in a pass to Madison Layden, who will be kicked it out for a 3, and it won't fall.
And this high pressure has made it difficult to find opportunities, but there are a lot of gaps where Purdue is going to have opportunities to attack.
Exactly right. Kyra Evans in the low post. Looks to shoot. Now kick a little swing pass over to the corner to Alyssa Brett, who will be called for the foul. Lauren Hansen will check in for Taylor Woodson. Hanson, the Wolverines' true point guard, returning, although Taylor Woodson's impact can't be understated, a transfer player who perhaps hasn't had the most minutes this season, nevertheless still having an opportunity here in a big game early on. Elena Harper with the ball now. She'll use a screen from Madison Layden. Now kicked back over to Jayla Smith. Smith will take it herself, the dangerous lefty. She'll kick it over to Abby Ellis, and that one will fall. A three-point shot from the wing for Abby Ellis, and it's a 15-14 game.
And Abby Ellis is somebody to watch out for on the Boilermakers. She is one of the leading scorers for the Boilermakers and has the most minutes played this season on the team.
Exactly right. Layla Filia dump it down to Kyra Evans, who takes an elbow jumper. That one won't fall. The ball will be taken up by Madison Layden of the Boilermakers. Layden goes left, dumps it off to Abby Ellis. Now dumped into the low post, and that's Sophie Swanson. Swanson kicks it back out to Smith. Smith with that lefty finish sends it up, over, and through to Elena Harper with a little bit of a lefty finish. A crafty pick and roll creation by Jayla Smith there, and it's a 15-16 game, and Purdue has their first lead of the game.
That was Harper's first points of the game as well. 1 and 2 tonight.
Alyssa Brett dumps it over to Kyra Evans at the right elbow. She'll attempt a step through, and she'll nail the and one. 3 points for the old-fashioned way for Kyra Evans. What do the Wolverines need to do to keep fighting in this tight matchup early on?
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing they need to do is just stay tight. They need to make sure they're not giving up the ball on sloppy plays, anything of that nature, and try to draw the foul. A couple of times we've seen them charging, foul on Michigan. In this case, they were able to draw the foul and get the and one. That was number 22, Shira Evans.
Free throw will fall, and I like your assessment, man. We're looking for, we know Big Ten basketball is always going to be kind of a bing bang play, a lot of physicality. It always ends up seeming to be who can come out on top, persevere through that adversity, take advantage of the fouling, and you'll see who can win at the end of the day. As an illegal screen received by Alyssa Brett, she'll draw the foul, and the ball will go back to the way of the Wolverines. 6 minutes and 14 seconds here to go in the second quarter. The Wolverines up by 2. And they'll have the opportunity to build something here. A single press there by Rashonda Jones. Broken by Lauren Hanson and kicked over to Layla Filia. Now over to Elise Stuck. She'll send it back up to the top of the key for Hanson. Hanson, who accidentally picks up that back foot and draws the travel. So a turnover for a turnover, and it'll be back to the Boilermakers.
If Purdue is able to take advantage of these opportunities and get right back up with the Wolverines, currently trailing by only 2 points, they're going to keep this game tight and look for a win.
Now the ball sent over to Abby Ellis. Ellis kicks it over to Nyla Reynolds. She'll attempt to put one up. The ball will be retrieved by Alyssa Brett. Brett taking it downhill. A little bit of a bump and a charge drawn. That was Madison Layden. That's exactly what you were talking about right there, Matt. Have to be conscious of when to use that physical contact and appreciate those foul calls.
Absolutely, and of course that wasn't the time for it. And here they come again, the Boilermakers, looking to get those 2 points to get right back on track with Michigan.
2 points to tie to 3 to take the lead. That's Jayla Smith taking the ball. She'll take it under the hoop, bringing it around town. Now kicks it over to Abby Ellis. Ellis will take the screen. A hard edge there by Elise Stuck. Stuck will attempt to dump it down low. And Stuck with the lockout. A pass by the Boilermakers goes a little awry. And we've had 3 straight possessions with turnovers. Elise Stuck will send one up to Lauren Hanson to inbound the ball. A little bit of a light press here by Hanson. She'll get double teamed in the backcourt. Needs a little bit of help before the 8-second call. Retrieved by Layla Filia after a bobble. Filia will send it over to Whitney Solom. Solom kicks it over to Brett in the corner. Now to the top of the key, that's Layla Filia. Filia sends it over to Lauren Hanson. Now back to Filia, who will receive a pick and pop from Stuck. Elects to take it herself, and the jumper will fall. 2016 Wolverines. Now the Boilermakers with the ball. That's Jayla Smith, sends it over to Stevenson. Stevenson will do it on her own. The three will be no good. And the out of bounds will stick with Purdue.
We've seen a lot of high pressure in this game. Usually that's pretty abnormal for this early into the game. But Michigan has been giving a lot of pressure to Purdue when they've been inbounding the ball. And Purdue's been giving a lot of pressure on Michigan when they've been inbounding the ball. And this is just making this game really, really exciting to watch.
Exactly, a high-paced game here. 2016, the Wolverines lead with 4:28 to go in the second quarter. Of course, TJ Fossmeyer and Alex Miller will be on the second half of your call. We're thankful to be able to cover this here for WCBN. As the Wolverines are going to look to build a little bit of a lead here, Matt. This is the opportunity to go down the stretch, get a stop, a score, and perhaps you can look up and find yourself with a little bit of a bigger lead. 9-1, of course, to start the game for the Wolverines. Since then, Purdue has battled back. What do the Wolverines need to do to capitalize on the physicality they've been displaying as opposed to drawing these fouls, drawing these turnovers, and shooting themselves in the foot, so to speak?
Definitely. I think the biggest thing they need to do, of course, besides being cautious, is always look for that opportunity. If they waste time and spend some time just passing the ball around, looking for a dribble rather than taking the shot, I think that's going to be something that's going to keep them from drawing fouls as well as get more points. I think that's going to be the biggest thing this early in the game to get a head start.
And that's one way to do it. Another way, it's never hard to make your shots. It never hurts to do that, so to speak. 42% from the field for the Wolverines. They're shooting at an all-right clip, but still sitting at 2 for 6 from the three. It seemed that earlier in the game, the Wolverines were able to open up some open shots for themselves, especially from the wings and the corners when Purdue was struggling to switch on-ball screens. Now, the three-point shooting has gone silent a little bit. Do you believe the Wolverines should try and open up and stick with what they were doing sooner? Or do you think they need to be working out of that low post as they've done more recently?
I think the biggest thing now might be to avoid the threes. If they've been having a little bit of trouble from out beyond the arc, the best thing they can do right now is just stick with the safe shot, stick with what they know, get ahead a little bit, and then maybe once they get a solid run, get an open three, get a really good look, that might be the time to take it.
I completely agree, Matt. You know, Greta Camp, Schrader, Alyssa Brett, excellent three-point shooters here for the Wolverines, but sometimes you have to let the game come to you. Forcing up threes is something the Wolverines know all too well in some of their more losing bouts. And as this team has matured and grown throughout the season, I think you've seen some better shot selection from the Wolverines. Of course, no previous experience with Purdue, as you highlighted earlier, their one contest on the season. But as the Wolverines have found out over the course of this year, there's a level of maturity that can come with offensive play, especially from the half court, where they've looked to develop all season.
Absolutely. And just as you were mentioning, from the three, I think the biggest thing Purdue is going to do in this game is avoid those threes at the moment. They were 0 for 4, and now they're 1 for 7. They need to stick with the safe shots to get back on track with the Wolverines.
They'll have the opportunity here as the Boilermakers. That'll be Rashonda Jones, who will take it up and in with a lefty layup. 2018, the Wolverines maintain the lead as Elise Stuck will pass it over to Layla Filia to try and set up in the half court here for the Wolverines. Layla Filia will kick it over to the wing to Alyssa Brett. Brett will send it to the top elbow for the lefty layup, and no finish, but the offensive board by the Wolverines. Kick back out to Layla Filia for three. That won't go. It was Elise Stuck's attempted left-hand layup that wasn't able to find the bottom of the net. Now the Boilermakers. That's Mary Ashley Stevenson with the ball. Kicks it over to Rashonda Jones. Now Jones with the right hand. A little bit of a bump. She'll put the shot up and it won't fall. Ball recovered by Elise Stuck. Now over to Lauren Hansen. Hansen again trying to navigate the soft sort of double team that Purdue has been throwing at her. Purdue switching into a 2-3 zone here. The Wolverines will kick it over to the corner to Lauren Hansen. She'll attempt a three from the wide open corner. It won't fall. Now a little bit of a loose scramble for the ball. And a jump ball will go the way of Purdue.
And checking in for the Michigan Wolverines, we have Jordan Hobbs. And Filia steps off the court for the moment to get a breather. And we also have Elise Stuck coming off the court and Crockett subbing in. Some fresh feet for the Wolverines.
Exactly right. But for now, it'll be the Boilermakers with the ball. That's Jada Smith who will attempt a little bit of an elbow jumper. Ball recovered by Alyssa Brett. She's been all over the glass tonight. Now Hansen will kick it over the corner to Alyssa Crockett. Crockett now to Jordan Hobbs. She'll take a drive from the corner down the baseline, and it'll hit off the glass. Recovered by Abby Ellis of the Boilermakers. She'll go for a little bit of a spin move, a left-handed layup, but a travel call, so a little bit too much flash, not enough substance there for the referees. And Purdue will set up on their press.
We haven't seen too much action since this timeout break. 20 for the Wolverines, 18 for the Boilermakers. Just a 2 from number 2, Jones, for Purdue since the break.
Exactly right, and a little bit of a Hail Mary pass sent in by Stuck. Kicks it over to Hobbs, now to Alyssa Brett, who will send it over to Lauren Hansen. A little bit of an in-your-face 3 there on the Boilermakers, and Michigan's lead increases back to 5 with 2 minutes to go in this first half.
Hansen getting pretty comfortable beyond the arc now. Gets her second three-pointer of the night.
And that comfort, a little bit of defensive aggressiveness to boot. Hansen slams the ball down after giving up a little bit of a step through 2 to Abby Ellis. Now Hansen with the ball back in her hands again. She'll need some help, a bailout from the press. And help she won't find. A pass to Alyssa Brett will go down to Alyssa Crockett. But a travel on Crockett, and the Boilermakers will have the ball right back. The Boilermakers really with some stringent defense here early, a 3-point game, even missing, some of their leadership as we talked about earlier from this broadcast. They're hanging tough.
Absolutely right about that.
Abby Ellis with the ball. Now a swing pass to Sophie Swanson. That 3 won't go. Recovered again by Alyssa Brett. Who else at this point? Brett will hand it off to Crockett in the right corner. Crockett will take it with the left hand, picks up her dribble. Now back to Brett. Brett to Hansen. She's been feeling it today. A long 3 will rim off the back iron. Recovered by Kyra Evans. Now sent down low to Jordan Hobbs. Hobbs with the step through and the foul. Hobbs will shoot 2 at the line.
Hobbs, one of the leading scorers for Michigan. Only has 2 points on the night, but looking to pick up a couple more right now.
Like you said, Matt, the opportunity to grab 2 more. Layla Felia checks in for Alyssa Brett. Wolverines will miss Brett's presence on the glass as Hobbs hits her first free throw.
Hobbs averaging 9.9 points per game, picks up her 4th today, and we have 1 minute and 25 seconds left.
2 for 2 from the line, and that's Alyssa Brett, who just checked out, has 6 rebounds already on the day, on her way to a potential double-double candidacy as the Boilermakers inbound the ball. That's Madison Layden. Layden will kick it over to Abby Ellis. Ellis with the ball back in her hands again. The Wolverines press, causing some confusion, but Purdue attempts to set up in the half court. That's Layden again. She'll take it with the left. Pestered by Lauren Hansen. Hansen guarding the right hand of Layden really intently as she'll take a step back that'll fall. Madison Layden unfazed by Lauren Hansen's defense. As Hansen will inbound it, kicks it over to Layla Felia. A bit of a step through and the finish. An offensive onslaught here in this final 2 minutes of play in the first half after a bit of a quieter start as the Boilermakers attempt to break Michigan's press. Now the ball over to Ellis. Sends it over to Jayla Smith. A 3 won't fall. The Wolverines will have 30 seconds to get set up and ready to go as the shot clock drains along with it. Shot clock 2-second difference from the game clock. Perhaps the last possession of the game, of the half, I should say, if the Wolverines can capitalize. Hansen sends it to the top of the key to Felia. Felia drives right hand, stops, sends it over to Hansen. Hansen with a little bit of a shimmy shake. 2 seconds to go. She'll have to put a shot up. It won't go. And as the rebound is recovered by the Boilermakers, the half will expire, and the Wolverines will come out on top with a 5-point lead for now.
That is right. It is 27 for the Wolverines and 22 for the Boilermakers. We just finished the second quarter, which means it is halftime, and we have a short break, which is always a good time to discuss how we are doing so far from each side and also where each of the two sides can go for the rest of this contest.
Exactly right. You know, I think the thing that you see right here on your screen, Matt, that jumps out to me before we cut away, if you don't mind, 19 seconds of game time leading for the Boilermakers. This first half technically has been the way of the Wolverine the entire time. What have you seen about their ability to handle holding the lead throughout this contest? The Wolverines, that is.
I think that's been something super important. Anytime Purdue got close, Michigan was able to respond very quickly, very efficiently with a couple of points. While they haven't been able to get an explosive run and really gain that lead, what they have been able to do is stay ahead, stay in this game, and make sure that they are still on top. Something super important to do.
Exactly right, Matt. You know, and it's meaningful to be able to hold that lead, something the Michigan hockey team is familiar with struggling with. So the Wolverines can commend themselves for being able to maintain such a lead thus far, but I think you touched on it a little bit in your answer. That next step is being able to build the run, not just to maintain the lead, but to build upon it. What do you think Michigan has to do to find their way into a larger than 5-point lead?
I think the biggest thing they're going to have to do is somehow get that run. I'm not exactly sure at the moment what they're going to need to do in order to secure that, but I think one of the biggest things is just avoiding those penalties. What they're going to have to do is make sure that they aren't getting fouls, and that's going to be something super, super critical. We've seen charging, we've seen some traveling violations, and minimizing these is going to be what is going to make Michigan successful or ultimately unsuccessful in this game.
Exactly right. Michigan's getting some of the shots they'd like. Lauren Hansen shooting 2 for 9, Layla Filia 3 for 7. Normally the more active ball handlers for the Wolverines. If they can get those shots to fall, they'll find some more success. I got one final question for you here, Matt, before we kick it over to TJ and Alex. Alyssa Brett, let's highlight her. 6 rebounds on the day. Brett, of course, kind of known for a little more of a sharp shooting role for the Wolverines. What does it mean for Michigan when you can have players contributing at all levels at this point in the season?
Absolutely. I think that's something that's super important. And, of course, highlighting Alyssa Brett. I mean, you have an absolute stud for the Michigan Wolverines. This season, she's one of the leading scorers. She's shooting 81% from the free throw line. And in this game, too, something pretty interesting. She's from Australia, so is 22, Evans. And we have another Australian native on Purdue, that is Ellis. So we have an Australian game here at Crisler Center. But Brett has been doing absolutely incredible this season and this game so far. Big performance.
Exactly right. The down under comes up north, a little bit of a Australia to Big Ten pipeline. For John Tondora and Matthew Peel, this has been WCBN Sports in the first half. Stick around, though. Don't be afraid. We'll have the second half levied by TJ Fossmeyer and Alex Miller. However, for Matthew Peel, this is John Tondora. We thank you for listening to WCBN as we take a quick break into this second half. Michigan, a 5-point lead, 27-22 against the Purdue Boilermakers here in Crisler Center. Talk to you soon. Give you time to speak because it's so tough to hear you. I'm like, wait a minute, like.
No apologies if I was cutting you off or anything like that. So I was like, did he say something?
No, not at all. I guess I've never used board B because I'm so used to being able to hear. Yeah. Although I haven't called a whole lot, but.
I don't think I've ever used this board because I'm not familiar with it.
I'm so used to hearing, and it's so weird. It's like, I've never thought about, like, I can't hear myself think until, like, now. I'm talking and I can't hear myself, and I'm like, wait, what am I saying? Is this making sense? Like,
I was thinking the same thing. Like,
normally, if we had less, like, computer issues, I would have had the chance to read this a bit better. I was feeling bad. I was like, yeah.
Halftime here at the Crisler Center. My name is Kellen Flynn, TJ Fossmeyer with me as we battle through our muted headsets and try to hear each other here at halftime as the cheer team just performed their halftime show. And TJ, first half of basketball, Michigan up 5, 27-22, as all our listeners know. But at halftime, let's talk where Michigan stands in terms of the postseason.
Yeah.
I believe with a win tonight, Michigan locks up the 7 seed, or can't fall further than the 7 seed in the Big Ten tournament in Minnesota. Current projections from ESPN have Michigan as a 10 seed, one of the last 4 teams with a bye. Previously, the last couple of weeks, Michigan had been in that last 4-in category with a play-in game as an 11 seed, now slated as a 10, currently projected in the USC region and drawing Florida State in that first round. HerHoopStats.com has Michigan in that play-in game as an 11 seed. So Michigan still on the bubble, but a win here tonight would be huge for their national postseason endeavors. And at the Big Ten level, obviously a win helps secure some better seeding and draw a more favorable matchup in round 1. Alex and I were just talking. I think our consensus is kind of close out tonight. I think a definitive win is definitely better if Michigan can put together a good second half. But, you need a win here tonight, and you need a win in the first round of the Big Ten tournament. And I think you can fairly confidently say Michigan's going to get in to the NCAA tournament.
I mean, you just got to treat these next 2 games as must win. You know, against this Purdue team, you know, that doesn't have really a tournament shot. You know, you've been in that bubble all season long, really. I mean, it's just that, you know, Michigan, that loss to Michigan State last week, that hurt the resume. But a win here and then a win in the first round, you're right. They're definitely in that bye, or even not in that bye spot. They're, I think, securely in.
And for Michigan, getting out of that bye spot, again, could be huge. We've seen this team have their ups and downs this year. I mean, they did beat Ohio State earlier in the season, who is currently projected as a 1 seed. Most places that lost to Iowa today. A little less sure where that will end up, but currently Michigan is 8th in the conference. Half game behind Penn State. A win tonight would move them ahead of Penn State. Due to their conference record being the same, 9-9, and then Michigan owning that head-to-head advantage when Michigan went to Happy Valley and beat the Nittany Lions. That puts Michigan in the 7th spot, and I believe they would draw the winner of the
I think 11-14.
I think you're right.
So they're the winner of, as of right now, winner of Minnesota Rutgers.
So Michigan almost assuredly will get one of Purdue, Minnesota, Northwestern, Rutgers in their first round Big Ten tournament matchup, which is huge because Michigan really needs that win.
I mean, just like I said, it's just must-win games, these 2 games. You absolutely need a win. And you'll draw a relatively easier opponent. You might draw another team like Purdue, which is why this game is even more important. You need, go away with a definitive win against a team like Purdue, because this effectively is what you're going to see in the first round of the Big Ten tournament.
And I think we saw a good start from Michigan tonight, but they really kind of cooled off, just not crisp. I think Purdue's kind of mucked this game up a little bit, and that's not favorable for Michigan. Michigan has the superior ball handlers, the superior shooting. You got to make this as much of a basketball game as you can and really force Purdue to beat you in the half court.
I think Purdue's done very well with zone defense. It seems like that's been a huge weakness for Michigan this year, going against that zone defense, and the Boilermakers have done very well in stifling any offensive production.
And we've seen Michigan try to get Jordan Hobbs going elbow to elbow against that zone, kind of the high post area. Hobbs with a unique skill set with her height and also ball handling and shooting ability. But again, Michigan really, like you said, has not been able to crack it. On a few times, though, we've just seen Layla Filia flat out blow by 2, sometimes 3 defenders and just get to the cup.
Yeah. And it's that mid-range that's been keeping her in. I've said this all season. I see a lot of DeMar DeRozan in Layla Filia, just the way she can just sink down those mid-range jumpers with ease.
She's been fantastic from the mid-range all season and has been able to take over games at times, TJ, this year. This feels like it might be one of those spots where you need your superstar to come in and take over down the stretch to shut the door against what is, frankly, an inferior opponent and come out with a commanding victory.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we need to see, how they respond in the second half against Purdue, because this is likely what you're going to see in the first round. So, I mean, effectively, this is a practice game for the Big Ten tournament. So you need to come away with a great second half, and we've seen that happen this season for Michigan.
So for Michigan fans, some teams around the country to keep an eye on over this next week or so as we inch closer to Selection Sunday and as these tournament seeds finalize. Marquette, Green Bay, and Maryland, the last, along with Michigan, receiving the last 4 byes according to ESPN, and then Kansas, Auburn, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt, the last 4 in. And then if you want to look a little bit further, Texas A&M, Arizona, Washington State, Penn State, currently the first 4 out. So that grouping of 11 teams are Michigan's main competition for these 8 spots.
I know. I mean, that's March.
That's exactly.
So it's fun to watch.
It's fun. It's what
fun.
We all wait for.
I love this month.
We start in November waiting for Selection Sunday and this time of year, and it's a lot of fun. Obviously on the men's side, not as much anticipation, I'll say, but it's going to be a lot of fun down the stretch for this Michigan women's team. With that, I'll wrap up our halftime show, about 70 seconds or so away from heading to the second half action, and I'll hand it over to Alex Miller, who will be with TJ for the second half of play.
Thank you, Kellen. All right, TJ, how are we doing, sir?
We're doing good.
Well, this has been a bit of a stressful evening. TJ and I were trying to get this broadcast set up, and we didn't have a soundboard initially because the station has 3. They were all at different places. We had a men's game covered at Columbus today. We covered a men's game out in Piscataway over break, a game in Chicago over break, 2 of them. But we are here now, 27-22 Michigan. Alex Miller alongside me, TJ Fossmeyer. Kudos to John Tondora and Matthew Peel for an excellent first half. We're about to be back underway here for Michigan's final home game of the season, senior night, here in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, it's been a fun game. Purdue's come out, surprisingly well. They've been really well at stopping Michigan's offense, stopping Filia, stopping Hobbs, and they've really exploited a weakness that Michigan's had all season, and that's what we were talking about before the game, and that was with their offense against opponent's zone defense. It seems like they can never find a way to get around it. We saw it in Michigan State. We saw it in Ohio State. We saw it against Maryland, that they just fail to, find a way to get around the zone defense, and we see that here as it is a 5-point game.
So we're about ready to get back underway. Evans will be inbounding to Filia. Purdue will wait in the 2-3 zone that TJ just mentioned. Wolverines will have Brett Hansen, Filia, Hobbs, and Evans as usual. Inbound Layla Filia, top of the key for the Wolverines. Some off-ball action now. High post to Jordan Hobbs. Hobbs working from the elbow, driving in. Kick out to Brett, swings it top of the key to Hansen. Now Filia left wing, doubled there. High post to Hobbs, pulls up from the short post. That one's off the back iron.
See, in this second half, I look for Jordan Hobbs to step up. Everyone knows Filia, you know what you're going to get with Filia, but Hobbs, it's always been a question with that second option, and Hobbs has really stepped up, so I'm looking for her to step up in the second half.
Purdue almost throws it away, but the veteran point guard Janae Terry runs it down. Terry gets a screen, moving to her right to the right wing. Now over to Mary Ashley Stevenson. Top of the key. Stevenson handoff. Quick trigger 3 pulled up and knocked down by Abby Ellis. 27-25 Michigan. Lauren Hansen now picks up her dribble. Top of the key, high post to Hobbs. Michigan playing through Hobbs, high post. Corner three from Brett. And banked it in off the top of the glass. Not sure if that was Alyssa Brett's intention, but it's 3 points for Michigan either way.
And that's uncharacteristic of Brett. We haven't seen a very good three-point shooting season from her, but she comes in, as we've seen this year, she comes into those clutch moments when they need her.
30-25. Mary Ashley Stevenson, high post for Purdue, wearing a mask to cover the nose injury. And Stevenson, the freshman from New York City, has it back. High post, loses her footing now, puts up a wild shot. It's no good. The rebound comes out for Evans, now up to Felia. Layla Felia one-on-one, Euro step goes up. Can't get it to go. Janae Terry with the rebound. Terry, one of 3 players a year ago to average at least 6 points, rebounds, and assists, along with Caitlin Clark and the injured Notre Dame Fighting Irish Olivia Miles. Post up for Stevenson is no good, but the follow also can't go for Terry. 8 minutes left here in the third quarter. Lauren Hansen on the right wing. Now to Jordan Hobbs. Hobbs almost had her pocket picked by Terry. Back to Felia, now Brett, left wing. They leave her alone. Brett fires a triple. It's off the back iron. Rebounded by the Boilermakers.
And Purdue's been really good at defense, with picking pockets all night, it seems like. Really coming up with those turnovers in this game.
Purdue threw up a long outlet pass that Mary Ashley Stevenson corralled and drew a foul on the way up. So she'll shoot a pair. Stevenson, 6'2 freshman from New York City. Went to Dalton, a high school that some of my cousins attended in New York. Small private school out there. Stevenson dominated in that area. So a Michigan timeout. 7:46 here left in the third quarter. Wolverines by 5.
And this freshman class for this Boilermaker team is the highest scoring freshman class in the Big Ten. So they're already making their immediate impact for this Boilermaker program, and you see that in players like Ellis and other contributors as well. And then in particular for this second half, I want to see, as I've said, I want to see Hobbs step up, but I want to see Felia, not be as selfish. We know she's the primary option for this team, and she's been very reliable in just getting buckets and getting this Michigan team ahead. But I want her to, not force shots up. We've seen that so far in the second half. I want her to find Hobbs, find Brett, find Hansen, who's been really good tonight from 3. So I want to see that. I want to see more selfless ball movement.
So 30-25 Michigan. 7:46 here left in the third quarter. This is the Wolverines' final game of the regular season. TJ, I know you and Kellen were looking ahead a little bit during halftime, but this is a game that the Wolverines cannot afford to lose. At home against a team toward the bottom of the conference in the Boilermakers.
I mean, as I said, you got to treat these next 2 games, today against Purdue and then whoever you go against in the first round of the Big Ten tournament as must-win games. I mean, this is effectively a practice game for the first round of the Big Ten tournament, as you'll face a similar opponent, whether that is Purdue again or Minnesota or Rutgers. This is going to be a similar game, maybe not a similar environment, but a similar game. So these are must-win games if they want to make that tournament, whether they're a bubble team or they're not.
Absolutely. The tournament up in Minneapolis. WCBN hopes to send a crew to cover however far the Wolverines make it this weekend. But first they have to take care of business here against the Boilermakers. Scoring's been pretty dispersed for Michigan. 7 for Felia leads the way. 6 from Hansen, 6 from Brett. 4 from Hobbs, 4 from Cam Williams. 3 from Kyra Evans. A lot of players have seen minutes. Whitney Solom saw her first extended minutes in a long while. It's senior night, and the senior from Heartland, Michigan, got a couple minutes first half. So we'll get back underway here. 30-25 Wolverines. And Mary Ashley Stevenson, wearing number 20, will shoot a pair for Purdue. Stevenson rocking the black Batman mask. It's a cold look. Knocks down the first free throw.
It's like masked LeBron. I mean, she could be a whole different player with this mask on.
Second one on its way is good as well. So she cuts the lead to 3, 30-27 Wolverines. Layla Filia will bring it up. No press that time from the Boilermakers. Jordan Hobbs swings it over to Lauren Hansen. Back up top to Alyssa Brett. Brett picks up her dribble. High post on a bounce to Hobbs. Back out to Filia, right wing. Going toward the middle now. Resets top of the key over to Lauren Hansen on the left wing. Hansen looks high post to Brett. Now swings it around. Brett to Hobbs in the high post. Low post, and she missed it long. Michigan unable to penetrate the 2-3 zone much on that possession. Here comes Purdue the other way. Mary Ashley Stevenson, high post, working on Kyra Evanson. Jabs right now, goes right, picks up her dribble outside to Terry. Terry picks up her dribble, now outside to Ellis. Ellis gets a screen from Stevenson. Pump fakes, now into the post. Working down low now, back outside for Ellis, knocks it down. Ellis has shot it well in this one. She is 3 for 3 from downtown, and this game is tied at 30 apiece. Lauren Hansen to the short corner to Evans. Kyra Evans now to Alyssa Brett. Jordan Hobbs at the elbow. Hobbs looking outside to Hansen on the left wing. Up top to Brett, now into the post to Evans. Kyra picks up her dribble, step through with the left hand, and the foul! The Wolverines had a scoring drought lasting over 2 minutes, but Kyra Evans breaks that with an and one opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, that dominance in the post, really using her strength to get there. And it seemed like there again, the Boilermakers really, are exploiting the weakness of that 2-3 zone. They could not get across anything. They were lucky to get that shot off, to force the and one there and make this a 3-point game. Really good defense by the Boilermakers.
And this Wolverines team has just really struggled against the zone all year. Free throw is up and good for Kyra Evans. Wolverines center is shot at only at around 63% on the season, but knocked down that one. 33-30 Michigan. 6:20 and ticking left here in the third quarter. Mary Ashley Stevenson. Handoff game with Janae Terry. Terry has it, moving to the top of the key. Now over to Ellis. Rips through. Now Hansen goes to the ground. Ellis almost throws it away. A wild possession here. Boilermakers will recover. It's Layden. Now a handoff to Ellis. And Lauren Hansen trying to go around the dribble handoff. No, I believe this will go offensive on the Boilermakers.
I believe that was a moving screen. I think that was the right call there. Hansen tried to get out of the way but couldn't because obviously she was moving. Yeah, it was a good call by the officials.
So they'll get Madison Layden on a moving screen. 33-30. Cam Williams in there, as is Kyra Evans. Two bigs for the Wolverines. Alyssa Brett swings it to Lauren Hansen. High post to Evans. Corner to Layla Filia. Filia has Mary Ashley Stevenson on her post to Evans. Skip pass to Hansen. Nice look for three. Hansen knocks it down. And there was a foul on the floor. Brett got knocked to the floor. I believe the bucket will count for Michigan. A really nice skip pass from Kyra Evans opened up that shot for Michigan.
Yeah, there was a previous open look for Hansen right on that right wing that kind of winced. I wanted her to take that shot because she's been very good from three, from the field in general tonight. And then she took that shot again, and that's exactly the opportunities they need to exploit.
And off the foul on that, the Wolverines have an extra possession. Filia swings the top of the key to Hansen. Now Brett. High post to Kyra Evans. Over to Hansen. Another three. Rattles off. Hansen was looking for a 6-point possession. Couldn't knock it down. Ellis the other way off a pump fake. On the dribble drive was fouled by Kyra Evans, and Ellis will shoot a pair. 36-30 Wolverines.
Yeah, Michigan came out of the second half exactly how I anticipated. Very fast. They've made the right adjustments. Going against this 2-3 zone, they seem to struggle, but they're still getting buckets across.
Abby Ellis has had a really nice performance today for the Boilermakers. Knocks down her first free throw. 4 for 6 from the field, 3 for 3 from downtown. The Australian. So 3 Australians on the court. Ellis for Purdue and Brett and Evans for the Wolverines. Second free throw is up and good as well. 36-32 Wolverines. 5:23 left here. 2-2-1 press from the Boilermakers. Layla Filia
Left side to Evans. Up ahead across the timeline to Cam Williams. Over to Lauren Hansen. Almost lost her dribble. Now settles it up top to Felia. One more over to Brett. Now short corner to Kyra Evans. Evans puts it on the deck. Corner 3 to Brett is up and off the front iron. Another nice look for Kyra Evans, but Brett couldn't knock it down. Mary Ashley Stevenson swings it over to Janae Terry. The Detroit native drives, kicks it up top. Jones on the drive. Rashunda Jones resets at the left wing. Now drives past Lauren Hansen. Hansen fouled her.
And even if for Michigan those shots aren't going down, I like the looks. You know, they're really adjusting, pivoting against this 2-3 zone that seemed to be a struggle for them all season. You know, they're getting those good looks, and unfortunately they're not falling.
In the 2-3 zone, if you play it correctly, can create looks from the three-point line, and I think really that's what teams are going for against Michigan. They want Michigan to settle for three-pointers, but these are good looks, and these are shots that Wolverines like Brett and Hansen that have shot the ball well from the three-point line this season and in their careers at large can knock down and have to knock down if Michigan wants to contend with the top teams in the Big Ten, especially moving forward to the Big Ten tournament and then even further on in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's like players like Brett and their Hansen that are making just over a third of their threes. Those are the looks you want them to take. Those are the shots you want them to take. As you just said, as they're moving into the dog days of the tournament, and eventually, if they want to reach into the NCAA tournament, that's exactly what they need to do. And I like the adjustments they're making right out of half. They go on a 6-0 run, finding holes in the 2-3 zone, just showing toughness as well. That's really, that's I think been an underrated aspect of this team all season long. So
4:45 left here in the third quarter. We're in the under 5 media timeout. It was ruled a shooting foul on Lauren Hansen. So when we return, Rashunda Jones, the freshman from South Bend, Indiana, will get to shoot a pair, try to cut this lead. Wolverines lead 36-32. In what has been a closer game than I think I expected at home for Michigan. The Wolverines are coming off a loss at Columbus against a top-tier Ohio State team, and before that had a win against Northwestern in Evanston, but before that a loss at home against Michigan State by 4. That's a game the Wolverines really wanted to win for their tournament resume moving forward.
Yeah, that was a tough loss for them. Among others, including Nebraska was a tough loss. I mean, it's just these winnable games, that they just fell short.
Too.
Right. Home loss that you just need to capitalize on, especially if you have eyes towards March. I mean, they certainly haven't made it easy for themselves, giving up those home losses. And it was really fortunate you got that Ohio State loss because that really keeps, or that Ohio State win, that really keeps them in the conversation. Like a ranked opponent at home, especially, it was a great win for them to keep them in the conversation for the tournament.
Absolutely, and the overtime win at home over Maryland, particularly relevant right now. Jones at the stripe, knocks down her first for the Boilermakers. The freshman shoots it around 74%. Second one comes and is up and good as well. So 36-34. Again, the 2-2-1 press from Purdue. Evans inbound to Alyssa Brett. Back to Evans. Now swings it back to Brett. Up over across the timeline, Lauren Hansen. Hansen driving left toward the cup. Picks up her dribble into the corner. Brett thought about a three. Now swings it up top to Layla Felia. Felia will settle it down to Lauren Hansen. Hansen to Kyra Evans, left wing. Back to Hansen. Swings it over to Felia, right wing. Now Brett in the corner. Evans up top to Felia. 5 on the shot clock. Felia has to go to work. Layla fades, puts it up, banks it in. Layla Felia, at times a wizard at the end of the shot clock for Michigan.
It's that smooth mid-range jumper I was talking about in the halftime show. It's shades of DeMar DeRozan there. You know what you're gonna get from her, and then just get that reliable bucket.
38-34 Wolverines. Ellis picks up her dribble at the elbow, almost traveled. Kick out to Janae Terry. Terry, as steady as they come, enters the post for the freshman Mary Ashley Stevenson. Stevenson Looked for
Great
Terry, and it's
defense.
blocked by Brett. Terry was sitting on the block wide open. Stevenson didn't see her immediately. By the time she did, Brett was there. Wolverines the other way. Hanson to the post to Cam Williams. Williams, lefty hook, it's good. Cam Williams has been really excellent with the offhand as of late. 40-34 Michigan. Under 3:30 remaining here in the third quarter. Rashunda Jones has it left wing for the Boilermakers. Jones working on Lauren Hanson, up top to Stevenson. Skip pass to Terry on the right wing. Terry kick out. Ellis fires a triple. No good. The board is tipped by Evans and corralled by Cameron Williams. Layla Felia the other way. Downhill, had a steam. Outside, Kyra Evans has time to tee up a three. That's off the mark. And now Purdue in a hurry the other way. It's Terry. Nice pass to Ellis. Really nice find by Terry. Looked off to Jones to the right side and then fired it down to the cutter Ellis, who finished.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been great basketball for the past minute. Great defense by Alyssa Brett. Great transition, offense and defense from both teams.
Brett misses a bunny from straight on. Now here comes Purdue the other way. Ellis pulls up and around the elbow and knocks it down. Abby Ellis has been critical for Purdue. She's got 15. And this lead is down to 2, 40-38 Wolverines. Layla Felia over to Kyra Evans. Now Alyssa Brett left wing. Cam Williams left alone at the elbow. Not much of a jump shooter, though she does shoot it well from the charity stripe. Kyra Evans now high post. Driving in. Almost loses her footing. Spins around. Banks it home. An off-balance shot for Kyra Evans, but one that the Wolverines very much needed. 42-38 Michigan. Under a minute and 45 here in the third quarter. Harper hands off to Terry. Terry looking for something, swings it over to Ellis on the left wing. Ellis drives baseline. Brett down to the floor, and a blocking foul called. I mentioned Elena Harper there. Older sister Caitlyn, the 6th-year senior, one of Purdue's top leading scorers at 11 a game. On her senior night last time out against Penn State, had a massive game, a career high of 29, but tore her ACL, unfortunately, so the Boilermakers are without her. She announced that it was her final game of her college career. Open triple is no good there in the corner for Jones. Michigan the other way. Taylor Woodson has it. She's checked in. Layla Felia left side, driving in, outside of Jordan Hobbs. Hobbs to Brett, one more, looking for Woodson, but the pass is tipped. Jones was the one with a hand on it, and it goes out of bounds off of Jones.
And you're just seeing a scrappy brand of basketball from both teams here, poking the ball out from both teams. Like Alyssa Brett a couple minutes ago, forcing her turnover. Nearly a forced turnover there on Purdue, or for Purdue, rather. I mean, it's just a scrappy brand of basketball. I mean, it's been fun to watch.
Greta Kamschrader checks in for Michigan for Alyssa Brett. Layla Felia signaling to Kamschrader to swing it around. Now Hobbs right wing. High post to Cam Williams. And a foul on the floor on Reynolds. Reynolds, one of 3 sets of sisters on this Boilermakers squad. That was number 15, the sophomore Mila. Younger sister Amaya is a freshman. Under a minute to go here in the third. 42-38 Michigan. Felia into the post. Cam Williams, low position on the block. Cam pivots around and finishes. Hard to stop Cam Williams when she's that close to the bucket on the catch. Jones open 3 the other way from the corner. Knocks it down. Nice find by Janae Terry. 44-41. Greta Kamschrader settles it for Michigan to Layla Felia. 30 seconds to go here in the third. Wolverines by 3. Felia looking for something now. Kicks out to Hobbs on the left wing. Nice pass inside to Cam Williams, and Williams with the finish. Nice look by Jordan Hobbs. And now Janae Terry will slow it down. 10 seconds left here for Purdue to get one shot. Terry working on Taylor Woodson. Terry bringing up Ellis. Now Terry attacks off the dribble behind the back. Pull-up jumper. Left it short. Jones couldn't corral the rebound. And that'll do it for an eventful third quarter. Wolverines lead it by 5, 46-41 after three quarters here from the Crisler Center.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a fun quarter, a high-scoring quarter from both teams. And, Michigan's done very well at attacking, taking advantage of leverage. It seemed like Cameron Williams has been very well, using her size, getting leverage down to the post. And then in particular credit to both Feely and Hobbs, finding that leverage and, getting that pass in the right spot, for the easy bucket right there in the post, right in the restricted area. So it's just those easy points that's allowing Michigan to kind of pull away, get a lead here.
Cameron Williams all of a sudden has a team leading 10 points for Michigan. Williams has been really efficient as of lately. Her number of touches and minutes just goes up and down very much game by game, but on her touches she's been very efficient, and 5 for 6 today from the field.
Yeah, I know that's what you've been kind of questioning all season, just the rotations. It seems like Cameron Williams has been a solid presence in the post all year long, and the amount of touches has been kind of the variance in that has been very questionable. But as you see here, she's very efficient. You know what you're going to get from her when she's on the floor.
And this has been talked about this team a fair bit this season, but Williams and Kyra Evans both play the 5 for Michigan, and they're very different kinds of players, and Michigan uses them very differently. Like today, we've seen both of them excel at what they excel at. Williams has been so good on the low block as a post scorer, and Evans has had some really nice skip passes, working as more of a hub in the high post. So 46-41 as we enter the fourth quarter in the Wolverines' final regular season of the game, a must-win game. I'm Alex Miller, alongside me TJ Fossmeyer. Happy to be back in the Crisler Center one last time for this women's team this season. I've actually got the men's home final game of the season against Nebraska next Sunday.
Are you on the call for that one?
I'm on the call for that one, so I'll be back here one last time this season. I'm only a junior, so I've got one more year of basketball in me on WCBN.
Yeah, and certainly the women's side of the Michigan basketball program certainly been more entertaining, more competitive.
Certainly this year.
They got aspirations for March, and it's looking like, if you win this and you win the first round, it seems like they'll make the tournament.
And so it'll be a lot to be excited about next year too.
Yeah, especially with that top recruiting class coming in. That'll be exciting for this program.
2 of KBA's highest recruits ever. 2 5-stars. Number 11 recruit in the country, Silas Swords, and the number 15 recruit, Olivia Olson.
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
So we'll look to get back underway here in Ann Arbor. 10 minutes to play of the regular season. A must-win game for Michigan. 46-41 Wolverines. Inbound to Jones, the freshman. Played her high school ball in South Bend alongside the Reynolds sisters. Pass was looking for Terry, was tipped, but Jones recovers it. Now using a Terry screen. Jones driving by Taylor Woodson. Help came from Cam Williams. Couldn't spin the layup up and in. Jordan Hobbs the rebound. She's pushing. Jones kind of come from behind for the steal. Hobbs felt it just in time to get it over to Greta Kamschrader. Taylor Woodson enters the post to Cam Williams. Tough angle, and Williams couldn't sneak it in. Terry up ahead to Ellis. Ellis, full head of steam. Nice find on the move. Sets up an easy layup for Madison Layden. Ellis has been really impressive tonight for the Boilermakers.
Yeah, I mean, just scoring-wise and playmaking, finding that open lane there. That was perfect.
Greta Kamschrader all day to tee up a 3 and missed it long. That's a shot she'll want back. Terry, hesitation, drive, finishes through the bump. Janae Terry, the 5th-year senior from Detroit, Michigan, played her high school ball at Wayne Memorial. Long time in the Big Ten. Taylor Woodson the other way, 2-on-1, bounce pass to Cam Williams, and Williams with the finish. 48-45 Michigan.
And I don't know what the Boilermaker defense was doing, just caught lacking there. They got numbers with that 2-on-1 there. I don't know what that press was. That was interesting.
3-point lead for Michigan. Jones to Terry, the top of the key. Terry handoff game to Jones. Jones tried to go up and draws a foul. I believe they'll get Cam Williams, so Rashunda Jones will shoot another pair of free throws.
And Cam Williams needs to be careful going forward with 3 fouls. You're heading into the 4th.
They'll put that foul on Taylor Woodson. Boy, it looks like Jones was squarely by Woodson and put her body into Cam Williams, but they'll put the whistle on Woodson, and for Michigan, you're certainly content with that.
That's a bit, yeah. That was an interesting call.
Jones knocks down the first free throw to cut the lead to 2. Second one is up and good as well. It's Wolverine lead down to a point, 48-47. This game is back on a knife's edge. Feely up to Jordan Hobbs. Hobbs spin move in the lane. Fade away. Banks it in. Jordan Hobbs. So crafty at times, and nice bucket there.
And maybe that's all Hobbs needs to get started. She's had a cold second half. That's her first points of the second half. That's what she needs to do to keep Michigan in this game.
Jones pull-up jumper from the elbow. No good. Alyssa Brett with the offensive rebound. And the refs are deliberating. I thought there might have been a foul on the floor on Purdue on the loose ball trying to trap Brett. But unsure what the call was. There will be a media timeout. Perhaps the refs are taking a look at this at the scorer's table. But 50-47 Michigan, just under 8 left here in this one.
Yeah, they're looking at Purdue here. Seems like there's a hand that came down, but maybe they're looking at Brett with the throw in the elbow. Yeah, Brett makes no contact with that elbow with Purdue. So that was good acting from Purdue there.
So we'll see what the call is.
And you see, in this whole game, you see this, these streaks, for both teams. You see momentum changing, almost instantly for the Boilermakers and for the Wolverines. You saw that, earlier in the third quarter. You see it here. I think whoever's going to win this game is whoever's hot, at the last moment. That's what it's going to come down to. You've seen both teams have their stretches.
The Wolverines have consistently led in this one, but they can't seem to get that lead by more than 5 points.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, if they're just lacking on defense, or the Boilermakers coming through Ellis coming up, just putting buckets in, but they cannot pull away from this Purdue team right now.
So we're in a full media timeout now. It looks like the foul is going to go on Abby Ellis, which means the possession will stay with the Wolverines.
Yeah, I'd agree with that call. That was the right call there.
Michigan is coming to this game at 17-12 on the season, 8-9 in Big Ten play. Bit of a drop-off from last year and really the last couple years. But still, Kim Barnes-Arico has this team in contention for an NCAA tournament spot. But it really has been an interesting season. I don't think it's gone exactly how I expected. I mean,
no.
Layla Felia, her scoring is down by half a point from last year, which is not what I expected at all with the departures of Emily Kaiser and in particular Leah Brown.
Yeah.
But Felia's efficiency has declined a little bit this season. But Cam Williams, his minutes have fluctuated. I think going in, we all expected her to really be the main starter at the 5 spot, and Kyra Evans has taken that role. And Taylor Williams started the year as the starting power forward, hasn't played in 2 games, and has barely seen minutes in the last month and a half. So this Wolverines roster has really changed and been modified throughout this season, but the Wolverines have been somewhat steady. We'll get back underway here, 50-47 Michigan, under 8 to play. Alyssa Brettel dribbled across the timeline, tried to get it to Elise Stuck, pass was tipped. The Wolverines have Stuck, Hobbs, Felia, and then both of the bigs we just talked about. Kyra Evans is off. That's Alyssa Brett. Felia will inbound to Jordan Hobbs. Hobbs, high post to Cam Williams. Outside Ophelia on the right wing. Now high post to Lee Stuck. Over to Jordan Hobbs. She'll fire a triple. That one's off to the left. Loose ball will go out the baseline, and that one will go Purdue's way.
I think what Michigan really needs to do is, anchor Cam Williams in that post, use that leverage as she's been, exploiting all night. Use Ophelia, use Hobbs, put Hansen back in the game, just find those outlets, get Williams those opportunities, and put in those easy buckets.
Jones using a Stevenson screen, now up top to Ellis. Back outside to Jones, right wing, open three off the back iron. Cam Williams comes out with the rebound. Here's Layla Ophelia running up the right side. Goes behind the back, now settles it to Jordan Hobbs. Hobbs into the post to Cam Williams, left-handed hook. Spins off.
Yeah, unlucky spin there, but that's the look you exactly want going forward.
Janae Terry working on Layla Ophelia. Handoff game with Jones. Jones gets a screen from Stevenson. And an offensive foul called on Stevenson. Alyssa Brett ran into the Stevenson screen and dropped like a sack of bricks. But to be quite frank with you, Stevenson looked very set.
Planted, yeah.
And
we just
saw a replay. Yeah. Did not move whatsoever. Did not lean into it at all. And, I mean,
it's a lucky break for the Wolverines.
Brett just dropped. I think she just didn't feel the screen coming, but I don't think that should have been an offensive foul on Stevenson. Regardless, Michigan the other way. Post to Cam Williams, now outside Ophelia. Swings it left side of Hobbs. Hobbs driving baseline, kick out to the corner. It's Brett, now post to Cam Williams. Left-handed hook is good. Cameron Williams continues to score it well on the low block. Purdue has not scored in over 2 minutes and 30 seconds. They trail by 5. Stevenson will leave it in the corner for Terry. She'll reset on the right wing. Now going to call up Stevenson for a screen, moving to her left. Pulls up at the elbow, and that one rattles off for Janae Terry. Alyssa Brett the board. 6 minutes to go here. Wolverines by 5. This 2-3 zone from the Boilermakers. And again, the Wolverines will look high post to Elise Stuck. Stuck back outside of Jordan Hobbs. Hobbs on the right wing. Swings it over to Stuck, top of the key. Over to Felia, left wing. Felia will go downhill. Elevates, tries to get it up. Can't get it over the rim. Here's Terry the other way. Hesitation. Kicks to the corner. Open triple for Ellis. It is good. Abby Ellis, 4 for 5 from downtown. And cuts the Michigan lead back to 2. The Wolverines cannot get this lead by more than 5 points.
And Abby Ellis is having herself a night with 20 points, 70% from the field. They cannot stop her. On that last possession, I want to quickly talk about Elise Stuck had leverage in the post, but she passed that one out. I kind of winced there. She had the defender on her toe or on her heels there. Could have easily spun around for the easy bucket, but she passed that one out. I think what Michigan needs to do is, anchor this game on the post. Really dominate the post. Use Stuck. Use Cam Williams. And, going forward, that's how you're going to win this game, and maybe that's how you're going to pull away from Purdue, with a 2-point game. As it seems like, they have not been able to pull away by more than 5 points. I think at the most they were leading by 7 at one point. They need to find a way to pull away, and I think to do that, you need to anchor your offense in the post.
And Abby Ellis doing everything she can to keep the Boilermakers in this game.
Yeah.
Purdue she leads the team with 14 a game, has 20 in this one. Layla Filio break the press. Skips it over to Lauren Hansen, who's checked back in. Hansen driving on the left side. Easy layup. No one stopped the downhill drive, and Hansen finishes. 54-50 Wolverines. Open three again for Ellis. That one just off.
That would have been a crowd silencer.
And a turnover. Hobbs was trying to get it to the post, and the pass is tipped. Janae Terry has it. She loses the dribble. It's taken away by Brett. Here comes Lauren Hansen the other way. Under 5 to play here. Hansen to Cam Williams in the post, and that one taken away from her by Mary Ashley Stevenson. Hansen tried to tie up Stevenson, but the bigger Stevenson got the ball above her head. Now Ellis the other way. Spin move out of control. And a foul called on Alyssa Brett. is Brett hit the deck. The Boo Birds ring down here from the Crisler Cullen. Oh! I believe that's referee Kim Hobbs who changed that call on the sideline to a travel. I think that was right. Ellis in the spin certainly put an extra foot in the ground before making contact with Alyssa Brett. So the Wolverines will have it.
I figured they call that in Purdue's favor, to offset the the moving screen we saw earlier. But yeah, I think that was the right call.
Filia went downhill in a hurry, missed it long off the glass. Cameron Williams with the rebound, and she's fouled on the floor. Madison Layden picks up the foul. That's her 4th. So the senior from Kokomo, Indiana, will check out with 4:35 to play and only one more foul to give for Layden. 4:36 left here. Alyssa Brett will be the inbounder on the baseline for Michigan. Michigan, a big lineup here, both bigs, Evans and Cameron Williams on the right block right now. The Wolverines will change their plan. Layla Filio go to inbound. Kim Barnes-Arico seated from her bench, signaling to her team. Filio looking, gets it into Lauren Hansen on the right wing. Hansen to Alyssa Brett, now back to Lauren Hansen. Hansen to Layla Filio left wing. Filia puts it on the deck, now over to Brett, top of the key. Brett crosses over, post to Evans, outside Lauren Hansen, open 3, off the mark. Brett with the rebound, outside to Filia, now Evans, back to Layla Filia. Nice board by Brett amongst the trees, went down there and corralled the rebound. Lauren Hansen into the post to Williams. Williams spins, right hand, another bucket in the post. Cameron Williams has 16. And on senior night, one of the Wolverines seniors, Cameron Williams, has it going for Michigan. Wolverine lead to 6, 56-50. Williams out and hedges the screen. It's Ellis out to Terry. Terry will slow it down. Now working is Mary Ashley Stevenson, working on Evans. Looks inside to Harper. Elena Harper missed her first layup, got her own rebound, and is fouled. She got that rebound amidst 3 Wolverines, and they'll put the foul on Lauren Hansen.
Yeah, Michigan was lucky that she wasn't able to convert on that easy layup. But how about Cam Williams on senior night, making her presence known, dominating that post with 16 points. And that's exactly what Michigan needs to do, going forward in this game. Center the offense around her. That's what's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what you need to do going forward.
Michigan will bring Jordan Hobbs on for Kyra Evans. Terry back out for a mid-range jumper. Couldn't tell. Believe that was Madison Layden back in, knocking down that short jumper. Lauren Hansen trapped, but gets it over to Layla Filia. Filia Euro step in the lane, and the finish on the right side. Pretty move. Layla Filia puts Michigan's lead back to 6. Janae Terry to Stevenson. Nice cut by Ellis, but Stevenson didn't fire the pass. Going downhill is Layden. Layden working on Jordan Hobbs. Up top to Sophie Swanson. Now Stevenson has a mismatch against Hobbs. Stevenson can't get it over the rim. Terry on the follow. Janae Terry is steady as they come. Her 5th year in the Big Ten. Played 2 at Illinois, now her 3rd at Purdue. A nice putback. Hobbs downhill. Has it poked from behind by Terry. It'll be off of her. The Wolverines lead at 58-54. 2:31 left here on the clock. The Wolverines desperately want to close this one out. They've got a 4-point difference to work with in the final 2.5 minutes to play. Inbound to Cameron Williams in the post. Baby hook is short. And Janae Terry comes out with the rebound. Skip pass up ahead to Rashunda Jones. Jones into the lane. Open 3 in the corner. That's Ellis. Another 3. Abby Ellis, have a day. A Purdue senior on Michigan senior night. Abby Ellis has kept the Boilermakers in this one almost single-handedly. Janae Terry's been key as well. Felia downhill, gets a free look at the basket and finishes. 60-57 Michigan. And Kim Barnes-Arico takes a timeout. And this one is going down to the wire, TJ. 60-57 Wolverines with 2 minutes and a penny to go in this one.
Yeah, in Purdue, it seems like they cannot stop their isolation defense against both Felia and Hobbs. That's been a big struggle for the Boilermakers. And that's why I'm looking. They're going to probably fix that in this timeout. But one thing the Wolverines need to adjust is defensive communication. You can see KBA. At least I've seen it. Her yelling from the bench. Something about defensive alignments not going well. And luckily for Michigan, the Boilermaker point guards are failing to see some open passing lanes. There are multiple times where I believe Janae Terry was wide open to the post, but they missed that. So that's a big break for the Wolverines. That's one thing they need to fix. They need to hone in that defensive communication, in a 3-point game with just about 2 minutes to go.
The Boilermakers will have it. 2 minutes left to play here in the regular season finale from the Crisler Center. The Boilermakers swinging around. Ellis comes off a pin down. Now gets a screen from Ellis, hedged by Cam Williams. Skip pass, open triple, fired up, and off the iron from Madison Layden. Lauren Hansen has it, 1:30 to go. Wolverines 60, Boilermakers 57. Hansen to Brett. Now to Hobbs, right wing, into the post. Cam Williams, low block, and another! Cameron Williams. 62-57 Wolverines. Jones has it for Purdue. Swings it over to Ellis. Ellis driving baseline, picks up her dribble, kicks it out, open three, Jones. It is short. The rebound goes out to Layden. Kick out Jones. Try number dose. That one is pure. A big time three on the second attempt for Rashunda Jones. And Purdue cuts it back to a 2-point game. 55.6 on the clock. Wolverines 62-60.
Huge credit to the Boilermakers. They're showing some fight. They went into this game, wanting to play spoiler against the Wolverines, who have tournament aspirations, unlike Purdue, who unfortunately do not. They have a good chance to play spoiler here. They're in it and have a night. Abby Ellis, 8 for 12 from the field, 5 for 7 from 3. She's been lights out.
Ellis has been key. Janae Terry has been making it happen. She has only 5, but 10 boards, 4 assists, and her playmaking has been invaluable for Purdue. Jones is up to 16 of her own after that triple. But for the Wolverines, Cam Williams has been massive down the stretch. She has 18. And 62-60. In a crucial game for Michigan. I mean, to put it lightly, if this game is lost by Michigan, I think this ends their season, at least their NCAA aspirations, I think, are done if they lose this game at home to Purdue.
Yeah, unless, if, let's say they lose this
barring
game.
A run in the Big Ten tournament.
Barring a big run in the Big Ten tournament. That beat me to the punch there.
But
this certainly makes their path a lot easier.
Because likely, if the Wolverines win first round of the Big Ten tournament, second round, they'll likely run into Iowa or Indiana.
Or Ohio State, one of those.
Ohio State's locked up the 1 seed.
Right.
I think Michigan likely will sit at 6 or 7. But nevertheless,
you'd have to go against one of those hard teams.
That's a top team.
Right. A win here certainly makes your path so much easier.
62-60. The Boilermakers are giving the Wolverines everything they can handle from the Crisler Center. Purdue took a full timeout, and then Michigan burned a timeout, 30 seconds. Buzzer sounds, so we're about to get back underway here. Michigan is 4 for their last 5, but their lead is only 2. A big-time shot by Rashunda Jones, the freshman from South Bend. Averages only a little more than 7 a game. She's got 16.
Wow.
So here come the Wolverines. Jordan Hobbs will be the inbounder in the half court, right in front of her own bench. 55.6 to play. Hobbs inbound, gets it into Lauren Hansen, back to Hobbs, now over to Felia, top of the key. This 2-3 zone look the Boilermakers have thrown at Michigan all night remains on the floor. Felia still handling it, left wing now Hansen. Over to Jordan Hobbs, right wing, corner to Brett. Post Cam Williams, 10 on the shot clock. Looking out, Janae Terry with the steal. Here comes Terry the other way. Pump fakes at the elbow, kicks it out to Ellis. 26 on the clock, 21 on the shot clock. And a timeout taken by Purdue. A big-time steal by Janae Terry. The fifth-year senior from Detroit, back in her home state, has made a couple big-time plays late in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows she's a great all-around player for Purdue. She's one of the best in the Big Ten in rebounding, one of the best in assists. And as a guard, to be top 5 in the Big Ten in rebounding as a guard is very impressive. She's just been that key, reliable force for the Boilermakers. And that pass by, that kick out by Williams there in the post, that's a questionable pass there when you know you've been dominating against Stevenson all night. That's just it seems like an easy bucket if you just maintain that post presence.
There's a big argument that Cam Williams touches her for Cam Williams to go to work and look for her own shot.
Right.
2-point game, 62 Michigan, 60 Purdue. The Boilermakers have it. 25.4 on the game clock, 21 on the shot clock. Terry will inbound in front of her own bench. In the half court, gets it into Mary Ashley Stevenson. She'll leave it for Terry. 20 seconds left to go. Jones driving. Draws some contact.
Wow,
that one drops, but a travel called on the floor. Jones briefly put her head to her hands, now is helped up by her teammates. Kim Barnes-Arico takes a timeout. It's been a bit of a timeout fest over the last minute or so. A big turnover by Jones, just picked up her dribble and got trapped amongst a couple of Wolverines, Cam Williams among them, and couldn't get a shot up before her third step went down.
Yeah, that was a great look, great drive, and that would have been clutch. Come up at the end one with a chance to take the lead with less than 18 seconds to go. That's a big break for the Wolverines. Huge turnover.
So Michigan, 62-60 lead, 2-point game, 17.9.
And you got to expect the Boilermakers to foul.
Right, and the Boilermakers have to foul, and there's only, I believe, only 3 fouls right now on the board for Purdue.
Yeah, I mean,
so the Wolverines will try to waste some clock off the inbound.
Yeah.
And try to get it to the players you want at the charity stripe. Layla Felia, Jordan Hobbs.
Lauren Hansen, nearly 85% from the line. You got a
Alyssa
lot
Brett.
of options.
But to be straight, it feels like to me Felia's your closer.
Yep.
(62-60). Boy, this one has come down to the wire. Thanks for sticking with us on WCBN Sports. Pleasure to be in the Crisler Center for this nail-biter.
I mean, the Wolverines have not made this game easy for themselves at all. I don't think they've had a lead more than 6 or 7 in this entire game. It's been, a nail-biter.
Jordan Hobbs will inbound, gets it into Felia, and she is fouled immediately by Janae Terry. Down to 15.9 left here on the game clock. Another inbound will come here. That's the 4th team foul. Hobbs once again will inbound. A similar set, and again, Felia gets it in the same spot. Hansen threw her a jump ball. Layla elevated to get it again. 14.8 after that foul committed. That time it was on Rashunda Jones. And after the 5th foul, now Layla Felia will shoot her pair. Big free throws for the Wolverine junior coming up. Layla Filia takes 3 dribbles, puts the shot up. First one is good. 63-60. Second free throw rattles home. Clutch. Free throws from the Wolverine star, Layla Filia. And that makes it a 2-possession game with 14.8 left here in the fourth quarter.
And that's exactly how they drew it up. Forcing those fouls, putting Filia to the line, and with an 80%, charity stripe shooter at the line, sinks those, make this a 2-possession game. Exactly how you drew it up.
Layla Filia has played 38 minutes in this one. That's been a regular occurrence for her. Has played at least 38 in all but one of her last 7 games. The Wolverines have been riding on their star guard, the Cincinnati of Ohio native. It's been big time for Michigan. 14.8, inbound to Terry. Terry skipped to Ellis. Ellis, step back 3, puts it up, short. Brett the rebound, but Terry, a crafty steal from behind. Another chance, Jones puts up a 3, short. Terry, another rebound. Whistle blows, they'll get Jordan Hobbs on the loose ball. But with under 2 seconds left on the clock, the Wolverines
big stops
might have escaped. Janae Terry did everything she could on that possession. The back tap for the steal, and then this offensive rebound.
Yeah, really a third chance opportunity there, and they came up short.
As long as the Wolverines do not foul a 3-point shooter, it's hard to imagine a loss. Terry throws it away. Hansen has it, and this one is over. The Wolverines win it 64-60 to close out the regular season. The Wolverines move to 18-12, 9-9 in a tough Big Ten.
This was a must-win game, as me and Kellen talked about in the halftime show, and they did it. They certainly didn't make it easy for themselves in this game, making it a close one. In between a 2-point game, Michigan really never giving up the lead, tying at some points, but they never led by more than 7 in this game. Did not make it easy, but they got the win. They grinded this one out, and this is a great resume builder for them come March, or come next week. It is March.
So the Wolverines win it. And I believe that will move them
to 7. Yep.
With the tiebreaker over Maryland, who are also 9-9 at conference, but I believe Michigan might jump up to 6th if they have the tiebreak over Penn State.
I don't think they have that. I don't think they have the tiebreaker over Penn State. I'm not.
So Michigan will be 6th or 7th going into the Big Ten tournament. I think Michigan does have the tiebreaker. They beat Penn State in State College.
Yeah.
So Michigan's sitting at 6th.
6 or 7. Probably 6, yes.
In a good spot for the Big Ten tournament. Assuming they win first round, that sets them up with a matchup against a tough Indiana Hoosiers team, if they are at 6th, as we currently believe. But for this one, Michigan wins 64-60, a big-time performance. Cameron Williams with 18 to lead the way for Michigan. Cam got the start tonight on senior night and was big time, 18. Layla Filia with 15. And Lauren Hansen with 11 were the only 3 Wolverines in double figures. Kyra Evans had 8. And then 6 apiece for Brett and Jordan Hobbs. No one else beyond that top 6 scored tonight for the Wolverines. A shot for Cam Schrader didn't fall. A shot for Stuck didn't fall. And that was it for Michigan. But the Wolverines hold on. And TJ, what are your sort of overarching thoughts on the Wolverines' performance in this final regular season game?
I mean, I've said it. They just did not make it easy. This should have been an easy win against an arguably inferior opponent in Purdue. And this was a Purdue team without their star player in Caitlyn Harper, who unfortunately did tear out her knee in her own senior night. They did not make it easy for them. This should have been I mean, this should have been a 10, 15-point win. It would have been great for their resume, but they scraped in with a 4-point win, but they still got away with the win. That's exactly what they needed, and they did it. But there is some things that they really need to figure out. But I think going forward, you need to start Cam Williams, as evident tonight with 18 points and just really dominating the post. If you find those mismatches and for those playmakers to find those outlets and use that leverage as she did in this game, they'll have great success going forward.
And credit to the Boilermakers for coming up to Ann Arbor and making it tough on Michigan. Abby Ellis starred in this one, 23 on 8 for 13 from the field, 5 for 8 from downtown. Rashunda Jones next with 16, and no one else in double figures. It was 6 for Madison Layden, 6 for Mary Ashley Stevenson, and a big 5 from Janae Terry back in her home state.
With 12 rebounds.
With 12 rebounds from the guard, 4 assists, some really excellent passes that didn't get credited for assists, but Terry a steady guard as they come in her final season of college basketball. So that'll about do it for us from the Crisler Center. Thank you for tuning into this one. Thank you for tuning into our coverage of women's basketball all year long. It's been a pleasure to follow this Michigan Wolverines team and what's been another solid season, and we hope to have a crew in Minneapolis later this week. I might be on that. That would be a 10-hour drive for me two ways, but I kind of thinking I might be making that trip. So we will see. That'll about do it for this one from the Crisler Center. For our first half crew, John Tondora, Matthew Pio, kudos to them for working through a bit of technical difficulty, working on the fly for an excellent cover first half. For TJ Fossmeyer, I'm Alex Miller. We'll leave you as we always do with a good night and a go blue. So long, folks.